What's up, sports bettors? Matt Modi here with OddsJam, coming to you with my 5 sharp bets for today. $500 worth of sharp bets, 5 units being placed today, Wednesday, August 10th. So we have 15 MLB games to choose from. We have 2 WNBA games to choose from. So we have a pretty big slate here for us to choose from. I will say I have gotten absolutely smoked on these 5 sharp bets. So I didn't do it yesterday, but I have done it 3 times. I have won a total of 2 bets. 2 of 15 have won. So I'm certainly not hiding or bragging about wins that haven't existed. Yes, so for the last slate, which would have been Monday, the first bet here was the Liberty +5. The last bet here was the Cubs Nationals under 4.5. Funny enough, so I have placed 15 bets. 14 of them have beaten the closing line. The one that didn't also won, which just kind of shows you how bad luck that I have had, how much bad luck that I have had with these 5 sharp bets. I'm not hiding from it. I'm not going to stop doing these because I do have faith in the system. And if you look just at the week over week, month over month with OddsJam, you see some highs and lows. This week currently down 323. Last week was down a slight 80. The week before that was up 90, but you see some spike weeks here and also some spike weeks down. So I think overall, especially as more sports start to start, frankly, with football starting soon, then the NBA, then college and all that stuff, there will be more to choose from, and I'll be able to have a higher selection of bets to place. But for now, we're stuck with baseball. We're stuck with WNBA. Some tennis is fun. MMA I've actually had a pretty decent amount of luck with. And let me actually zoom in here a little bit. And let's get into it. So I'm starting off with the WNBA. So I mentioned that there were 2 games today. The one that I have highlighted here is this over 162 in the Mercury versus Lynx game. So the play is positive expected value, of course, found using OddsJam. -110 on Caesars. The OddsJam line pulled from the sharpest sportsbook in the world prices this at -129, with the vig removed priced at -118, and only 19 cents of market width. But for those of you who have been following along this channel, despite a recent cold streak with the WNBA, has been squarely in the green, positive, placing WNBA bets. And the strategy is to look at all of the other books. So you click here, it pulls down the market. So right now, we see only one book gives a price for this Caesars bet at -110, which is the OddsJam line at -129. But if we open it up in a new page, view the event page, we see where every other sportsbook prices this total at. And this 162 at Caesars is a pretty massive outlier compared to every other book. WinBet, BetOnline, BetOnline being another sharp book, price this a full point higher. But the majority of books think this should actually be at 163.5. So this 162 is a full 1.5 lower than every other book pretty much, and what they price it at, including the OddsJam line, which basically says this is a 50-50 chance at 163.5, as does Bookmaker, another sharp book. So to me, this is worthy of a 1.5 unit play. So I'm going to go to the WNBA, and I'm going to go ahead and lock this in. Oh, I need to go. They both at 162. Could have made a real goof there. Price this at 162. The total is at 152. I'm going to put 1.5 units on this one, $150 on this bet. So let me now just add this to my bet tracker for 150. Click save, and we are good to go. So that play is still there. The positive expected value for this play is about 4.22%. So since I put 150 on it, my profit margin for this one is a little over $6 in terms of real dollars. This percent here is really cool. It gives you your percent quote unquote edge over the sportsbook. Also can be viewed as your mathematical profit margin. So for every $100 placed on these bets, you could figure to make $4.22. I put 150, which is why I was about a little over $6 just from doing the math on top of my head. But has been added to my bet tracker. So if I go back to my bet tracker and I filter only for pending bets, you will see it right here, and then plus some futures in football ones that I've placed. So that is my first one. So now that I've gotten none of these other WNBA ones, I'm going to bet this -170 first half money line isn't really that good of an outlier when you could look at Tipico's a little bit closer. And then this one, the over 82 is in the same game. I like choosing the full game and not doubling down on the same one when I'm only placing 5 bets. So that's it for these WNBA specific plays. Now what I'm going to do is click this recommended filters. For those of you who haven't caught these videos yet about the recommended filters, it's amazing. I'll definitely recommend checking out the video that Alex came out with where he details this in pretty good detail. But basically, the recommended filters are only showing you the best of the best positive expected value bets. It doesn't mean that plays not on the recommended filters are unprofitable, just that these are the most profitable and also have the least amount of variance associated with them. So our pledge to you is that if you place 100 bets using the recommended filters, we will guarantee you will be up money. You just have to accept variance. Like for me, a 2-13 stretch is tough. You have to accept that variance. It still is sports betting. After all, you're going to have down days, but if you can get to 100 bets, which is what obviously I'll get to at some point with these 5 sharp bets, I guarantee you will be profitable. And I also guarantee that I will be profitable doing these 5 sharp bets a day. So the recommended filters, it's amazing that this has come out. It takes into account a ton of data. So it's only showing opportunities in which we are getting an outlier. So normally I have to click into a play and compare all the books to see if I'm getting an outlier. The recommended filters does it all for you. So it's really, really helpful. I cannot recommend it enough. Just click that button and you'll start cashing. But so this first one here, Sean Manaea over 5.5 strikeouts. I do like off the bat. Obviously, it's going to check all the boxes, but if we just want to go through it, the OddsJam line prices this at -112 with the vig removed priced at +102. Only 30 cents in market width, so well within range there. And the play is at +113 on PlayUp, a new sportsbook in Colorado. 5% positive expected value, so pretty high EV here. And one thing I love doing for player props is checking out the OddsJam Props app. So this is something that, if I pull up on my screen here, is free to download on any iOS app, working on getting it for the Android. And all you need to do is just type in a player. So in this case, we're looking at Sean Manaea, and it gives you his historical data in terms of how he is trending over a certain number. So it looks like on the season, he has gone over 5.5 strikeouts in 11 of 20 games. Looks like he's done it in only 4 of his last 10 in 2 of his last 5. But if you look at the season as a whole, he trends over this number at a -122 rate, which is basically saying he hits it 55% of the time. The implied odds of 55% are -122, which is what he hits this at. So to me, this seems like a good play. It is roughly a 1% bankroll play. For player props, I guess I gotta log in here. I generally don't put more than 1% of my bankroll on just because there is a little bit higher variance associated with them. So I need to go to MLB. It was in the Padres Giants. Player props, pitcher player props, Sean Manaea over 5.5 strikeouts plus, looks like the odds changed in my favor. They're +115 now, right? Sean Manaea over 5.5 strikeouts. Yep, so I'm gonna put 100 on this one. Place bet, and bet has been placed, so we are good to go. So now I have 2.5 units out there, $250. I have 3 more plays to go, 250 more bucks to place. Here's another good one, just going next down the line. The Houston Astros -2.5 run line against the Texas Rangers. Pretty big number, but we're getting it at +130, so the odds are taken into account, winning by 3 or more. It is plus EV, of course, 17 cents of market width, and just looking at all of the other markets, every market thinks this should be roughly +110, +115, except for Caesars in PointsBet, which have it at +130. Pretty good outlier here. Again, that's why it's showing up on the recommended filters. It was the same thing with the Sean Manaea one. Every other book, except for BetMGM, has this for minus money. We got it all the way at +115, actually, is what I got it at on PlayUp. So that one was an outlier. This one is going to be a half unit play for me. So let me go to Caesars. I want the Astros versus Rangers, which I have right here. Alternate lines, Astros -2.5 +130, $50. So my third bet that I am placing. So now let me just add this one to my bet tracker. This was on Caesars. So this is my third bet, so I have 2 more to go to get to my 5 units, to get to my $500. Okay, and here is another player prop that seems to be really good. Nestor Cortez under 5.5. The reason why I like this one even though I know that it's going to fit all this criteria. It's plus EV, of course, minus 126, OddsJam line pulled from the sharpest sportsbook in the world, with the vig removed, priced at minus essentially 109, 31 cents in market with 2.23% profit margin. But opening it up and looking at all the markets, FanDuel is the only one that actually favors the over. Every other book thinks the under is the more likely scenario in this play. MGM, minus 130. FanDuel, again, minus 104, but Caesars, minus 131. BetOnline, minus 120. The OddsJam line, minus 126. PlayUp, minus 125. Every single one of these books is favoring the under, except for FanDuel, who's favoring the over. So to me, again, we know this is an outlier, but this just shows you exactly how valuable the new OddsJam filters are, because it only provides examples such as this. So minus 104, Nestor Cortez under 5.5 strikeouts, I think is a good bet. So I'm going to go ahead and get on FanDuel, lock this one in. So this is going to be another 1 unit play for me. So I have 1 unit to go after this, $100. Bet has been placed there. So now let me just add it to my bet tracker, $100. Click save. So I have 1 unit left to go with. Let's see if there's any new plays that have popped up at the top here. And actually there is one. Texas Rangers team total over 2.5. So I took the Astros run line. So it looks like now we are also favoring the Rangers to score. So maybe they're expecting a higher scoring game. This one being at plus 112, I like. Every other book has it for minus money except for Fox Bet, and then BetMGM and FanDuel have it at even money. Getting it at plus 112 on Tipico is a pretty big outlier here. So this is going to be my last 1% unit play. I guess I got to log back in to Tipico. This is going to be my 5th and final play, 5 sharp bets totaling $500, hoping that I win more than one of these bets. I have a lot of faith in them. They're all solid in terms of math and everything we're looking for. So let me go ahead. Rangers, total runs over 2.5 plus 112. This is going to be $100. Place bet. And unfortunately, Tipico won't let me get that much on it. So I'm going to be tracking it as $100. We'll see how much they let me get on it. So 75, so not too much lower on this one. So I'm going to put 100 on this one for my 5th and final bet. And that is going to be it. Those are going to be my 5 sharp bets. So let me go bet tracker bets. We can just do a little bit of a recap here. So over 162 in the Mercury versus Lynx game. Sean Manaea over 5.5 strikeouts in the Padres versus Giants. Astros minus 2.5 run line. Nestor Cortez under 5.5 strikeouts in the Mariners Yankees game. And then Rangers team total over 2.5. All 5 of my bets. Again, hoping for better luck here. If you're tailing, would love to hear it. Would love to hear your guys' feedback. Like the video, subscribe, helps me out a ton. And that's all I got for you. So appreciate you guys watching, and have a good one.